Hearts of Iron 4, developed by Paradox Interactive, is a real-time grand strategy game set during World War II. For the uninitiated, Paradox is known for its mastery of historical strategy games such as Europa Universalis, Crusader Kings, and Victoria, each covering different historical eras. However, today's focus is Hoi 4, which spans from 1936 to 1945, the period of humanity's deadliest conflict. As someone with more hours in the game than I'd like to admit, I can confidently say Hoi 4 succeeds in simulating the war itself. The game appeals to two main types of players, history buff and strategy enthusiasts, groups with significant overlap to be clear. Paradox consistently captures this dual appeal across its games. However, beneath the praise lies a deeper tension, the constant trade-off between historical accuracy and enjoyable gameplay, a debate that has ignited countless discussions both online and within my own friend group. To Paradox's credit, Hoi 4 does strive for historical realism. Major updates consistently refine aspects like equipment, technology, and military systems, and DLC such as Together for Victory adding things like technology sharing, Waking the Tiger with equipment scavenging and Man the Guns overhauling the Navy, and No Step Back doing the same thing for tanks. These have significantly deepened these mechanics. Even the more recent Arms Against Tyranny introduced doctrines for special forces, further reinforcing this attention to detail. The game's military structure reflects real-world organization. Players design divisions, the game's baseline combat unit, which consists of regiments made up of specific battalions. These divisions are grouped into armies, which are then commanded by generals, and multiple armies form up to create an army group, which is under a field marshal. Anyone familiar with military history will recognize the parallels. This level of depth, including division design and its associated stats, showcase the developers' efforts to create an authentic World War II experience. Paradox also brings the era to life through dynamic events and newsletters. Germany annexes Austria, the player gets a headline. Japan commits atrocities in Nanking, it's documented. The first atomic bomb drops, you're notified. These details, alongside fleshed out portrayals of historical figures like Stalin and Mussolini and their respective governments, reinforce that Paradox understands and cares about the period. Yet, for all these efforts, the historical accuracy in Hoi 4 often feels surface level. Beneath the carefully crafted veneer lies a game that prioritizes broad strokes over intricate realism. Historical buffs will notice this quickly, even if they appreciate the attention to certain military doctrines and events. Despite its realistic foundations, Hoi 4 makes clear concessions for the sake of gameplay and balance. Complex systems like diplomacy and economics are often reduced to a few simple mechanics. For example, trade boils down to, my factories need rubber, so I'll import rubber, and taxes are essentially non-existent. Instead, players rely on economic laws like war economy or total mobilization, with civilian economies largely sidelined. In stark contrast, other Paradox titles like Europa Universalis 4 and Victoria 3 feature robust systems for trade, diplomacy, and budget management. These games allow players to balance taxes, tariffs, and production in ways that feel dynamic and impactful. Hoi 4, by comparison, focuses almost exclusively on warfare, simplifying everything else to serve that end. Civilian infrastructure, railways, and supply hubs exist, but primarily to support military operations. For many players, a streamlined approach is a strength. Paradox understands that Hoi 4 is, at its core, a World War II sandbox. Warfare is the focus, and concessions to realism were made to ensure the game remains engaging and replayable. However, this has sparked debate within the community about whether the game sacrifices too much in the name of accessibility. The tension between realism and enjoyment is most evident in controversies surrounding recent DLCs. Take Gottdammerung, the latest expansion centered on Germany, a nation undeniably central to World War II. Some players criticized the focus on Germany, particularly its darker aspects, while others argue that ignoring these elements diminishes the historical authenticity of the game. Beyond individual controversies, Hoi 4 often glosses over significant historical events. Atrocities like those in China or European colonies are often reduced to simplified mechanics, such as resistance systems or quick event pop-ups that most players skip. Even Stalin's purges boil down to managing paranoia through simple button presses. The game touches on these moments but rarely engages with their complexity, leaving some players, including me, wanting more. Of course, many fans appreciate Hoi 4 as it is. For them, the game strikes the right balance between historical setting and engaging gameplay. Not every grand strategy game needs to replicate Victoria 3's economic systems or EU4's diplomatic depth. For this group, Hoi 4 succeeds in delivering an immersive World War II sandbox without getting bogged down in overwhelming mechanics. Hearts of Iron 4 thrives at the intersection of history and gameplay, offering players the tools to reenact or rewrite World War II. Paradox has masterfully captured the scale of the conflict, balancing accessibility with historical authenticity. However, this balance is imperfect. Concessions to realism, particularly in diplomacy, economics, and historical events, have left parts of the community divided. Ultimately, Hoi 4 reminds us that historical games are not documentaries. They are experiences designed for enjoyment, replayability, and storytelling. Whether you value its historical accuracy or its role as a strategic sandbox, Hoi 4 allows players to decide what matters most, and perhaps that freedom to shape history on your own terms is where the game truly shines. And of course, if you want more historical accuracy in your favorite World War II strategy game, there is always Black Ops.